Hello.
Yay.
Hello.
Hiya.
We could do Ancient.
Ancient.
Yeah, we haven't done that one.
All right. Sweet.
Or Oasis. Pick between Ancient.
Oasis
Ancient
sounds
or Oasis.
nice.
Yeah.
Let's do Oasis.
All right, I'm good with that. No, the par is 50, and I think me and Meg broke the 100 club yesterday. So
The par is 50 on Oasis?
I think on all of them it is.
Oh, okay. Dang. So
Yeah.
nobody's turning in a perfect 18? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know.
Thought that was going to be the score to beat.
Might be some shenanigans involved in that one.
If that happens, right.
I got a hole in one yesterday that I don't think I got, but okay.
Oh, yeah. We were like, you got a hole in one the last one. You're like, nope, I hit it twice. It's like,
Yeah, I definitely hit it twice.
All right. Well, we tried. I got to get Twitch up.
Marked it a 1.
That's it. I'm in.
All sorts of stuff coming this week in games.
Real game.
Gosh.
Real game.
No,
Oh,
no, just fucking
Never mind.
review shit. Yeah.
Switch to
IGN has basically replaced E3,
Sweet.
so they're filling up pretty much the whole month of June with shit. Speaking
good.
of, I need to
Somebody's
pull
out
that
there.
up. Right. Summer of Gaming. They all sound exactly the same, so I'm gonna fuck up the names of them. Summer Game Fest, Summer of Gaming. Okay. What are you doing now, PopCap boy?
Hey, I've got a pop socket too.
Yeah.
Mine,
I had one of those like 3 years ago. You fucking kids.
mine's just black and it has a magnet on the back, so I can put it on my
Nice.
car
So you
mount.
can stick it on stuff.
Just stick
Oh, I
it
need
stick it
one
on
of
the
them.
fridge when I don't need it. You know,
Stick it to your butt plug.
stick it to my magnetic metal butt plug.
Stainless steel, baby. Only way to keep it
Oh
clean.
my gosh.
Not gonna lose
Blech.
this phone. It's connected to my butt.
Oh,
That's
resub.
gross.
Chaotic resub.
Hey.
Oh, I need to resub.
Thanks.
All right, I'm gonna
Well,
mute
hey.
myself here. Can you start the other thing?
Can I start the? Oh, right. We record this on
Yeah,
a
that
separate
whole deal.
application. Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
See you, friends.
Oh, bye. Bye, Moose.
Bammers.
What episode is this? 106.
106. Whoa.
The numbers just keep getting bigger. When's it gonna stop?
When the host leaves.
Not how that works.
Oh, fucks. Oh, no, I don't want it on that one.
Whoa. I sent the cast link through Discord.
You did indeed. I've got it.
It to be there. You be there.
Here.
Graphics.
I'm here.
Oh, the graphic needs changing to 106.
Awkward.
Oopsie.
I'm on it.
Dragon baby screaming.
I actually can't hear her.
Not yet. Where do I pull up?
Oh, look at that. The magic of the internet. And it switched.
Oh, look at that. God, you are professional.
Oh, it's magic. It's also great that I can just write whatever I want in there. Throw up whatever weird things I want in here.
There's gonna be
please don't.
some loud thunder and shit here in a little bit.
Thunder and lightning. Should we get started then?
My windows are actually closed, so you won't hear vehicles just roaring down the
airplanes.
street. Or my fan just blowing on me because it's actually cool here today.
Do you want me to blow on you?
Damn it.
That sounded so wrong.
Yeah,
How
hard
was it
pass.
supposed to not sound rough?
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to sound as dirty as that.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Gay.
Do I have to
Who are all
edit
these
that?
people in our chat?
We only have one.
What
Hello?
chat am I looking at then?
Hey, do you? Were you watching
Have
a
you-
different stream?
Yeah,
Oh,
have you
I'm
subbed to a
watching
different?
The 1G Gaming Summit that starts in 1 minute.
Ah, yeah, that would be. You just thought there was like 10,000 people watching us
Yeah,
at
I was
once
like, God damn, why is the fucking chat blowing up right now?
with all these people I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I can't even remember what I promoted last week. Right, I know what I'm doing this week.
Do you guys like my hat this week? Do you know what it is?
That's more like it. There's nobody in our
Look-
chat.
It looks like the UPS.
It looked like a UPS employee. What are you
Yeah.
fucking doing?
Did you steal that from the UPS guy?
I still can't read that. What does it say? Totally allowed.
Oh,
I think it's meant to look exactly like a UPS hat.
yeah.
This is one of the last relics of gaming conventions from PAX
is.
East.
Wow. And you dirty did with your greasy hair.
I was talking to Waterloo last night. I was like, isn't it kind of weird that we went to PAX in like March and this thing was totally like in the US here and we were just like shoulder to shoulder with the hundreds of people, thousands of people. We made it out. Or we got sick way back then and now we're good.
You need. I can't change it. Damn it. Edit streaming. Oh, there we go.
I'm sure you can, Bear.
Okay. I just have to work.
Do anything you put your mind to, Bear.
I
Maybe not anything.
I believe
Just says
in
good
you.
morning.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it.
Got some new games to talk about this week, boys, huh? Dang.
Yeah, buddy. Maybe
Dang.
The game of the year with
Right, done.
Maneater.
Done and done. Okay, go on then. Let's drop
No.
Like it's
Nope.
hot?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Like it's hot?
it. You
Get
two
the
need to
show
mute, and you need to let me know when you're recording.
I will.
I'm tweeting and Facebooking bullshit.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting my phone off the desk because it keeps vibrating. I could just turn it off vibrate, huh? I could put it on silent mode. That's a thing.
That's what the pros do.
Got it. Quick and easy. Just like me. All right, I'm going to start
Did you
the
tweet it, Bear?
I did tweet and insted.
Insta tweet.
I'll just retweet your shit then.
We good? We good? Can I hit start?
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna mute it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Go for it.
The channel trailer is live now on twitch.tv/crossatlanticgaming. Come over, see my handiwork, see Moose, see Risky, see some games. Now let's talk games. Risky, hit that beautiful music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 106 of Cross Atlantic Gaming. I'm your host, Risky the Kid, and joining me this week are my co-hosts, Chocolate Bear
Hello.
and Moose.
What up? What up?
What's going on, friends? How's everybody's week been?
I've got a bad back.
Bad back. What'd you do?
Yeah, I played almost 36 holes last night. It was
30
hard.
Oh,
By pushing A.
I feel like that hurt my thumb more than my back.
Well, yeah. Well, I was at the bottom for most of it.
Well, I've got huge news this week at the Risky household, guys. You want to hear it?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
I finally got a self-propelled lawnmower. The push kind.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that you don't have to push it. It just kind of goes, and you got to keep up.
Yeah, our lawnmower finally died because it was a hand-me-down that was already like 15 years old. So this thing was just chugging. And when it finally died, we all kind of like, woo, celebrated a little bit. Went to the store, picked up the old self-propel one. That was the easiest mowing the lawn's ever been. It's fantastic.
I got to ask you, though, did you go gas or electric?
Gas.
Did you?
Yes.
I think I'm going electric next time.
My neighbor across the street actually uses electric. The thing is whisper quiet. It's like driving a Prius across the yard.
The only thing I worry about is the power, you know?
If
That's
it
why
has
you've got to
enough,
go
'cause-
petrol.
Petrol.
Well, back in the day, I used to let my lawn grow to like 6-8 inches long before I'd cut it, and there's no way an electric one would do that job. But
Yeah.
now I'm a twice a week kind of guy, so
Oh.
get my
Now
mowing
it's a-
shoes on.
Yeah, I would say it's a hobby now. It's like a get out of the house and mow the lawn.
Exactly, just get
20
out of the
minutes
house.
apiece.
That's it.
I
I'm
can draw that out to about 45 there.
Oh, wow.
Go real slow. I got
push it.
trimming to do. I got some blowing to do.
throw that thing into first gear and we're going slow. That's my next house. I just want it to be big enough that I can buy a riding lawnmower, and then I
Yeah,
can
dude.
glue my koozie to the top of it. Because this is what my father always did. He glued a koozie to the top of the lawnmower. He just put his beers, and he would just spend an hour and a half out there with just drinking beers while he mowed the lawn.
Shook up beer to me. But
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta
sure.
look into the zero turn for sure. That's where it's at.
Those are sweet. They look like
The ones you drive like a tank. You know?
they drive like pod racers, dude. From the
Exactly.
Phantom Menace. It's ridiculous.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, so that's my big exciting adult news. I'm growing up,
Nice.
moving up in the world. I'm a fancy person like Bear now. I guess when you get to Bear's level, you're just having somebody else cut your lawn for you.
No,
But
no, you do it yourself, and then you tell the kids if you leave your toys outside, the mower's going over it.
Well, on the contrary, Risky, everybody at my house is refusing to grow up. They all, except for myself, went and got some purple hair did yesterday.
oh man, you just got a household full of purple women.
It is punk rock everywhere, dude.
That's so funny.
So, like, because they got highlights, and then they got some of the highlights dyed purple, so they kind of, like, their hair looks like Rocky's wigs or something. So, I could dig it.
Quarantine is literally driving people crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm
Why didn't you
refusing
join
to
them?
cut. Because purple's just not. Ugh.
Would they have to would we have to bleach your hair blonde first and then do like
Yeah.
purple?
Yeah, that's what they had to do.
Oh,
My hair's so dark.
Oh, wow.
I think
but the baby didn't get purple hair. She's a little young to be dyeing her hair.
Yeah, I probably don't want dye in her up on near her
she's
scalp yet.
blonde, so it would just be stick out like a sore thumb.
Oh, well, that's good. No hair changes here at least, but sounds like everybody had a good week. Speaking of weeks, another week in gaming. What have we all been getting into? Let's start with Chocolate. Looks like you got a few things to talk about here. Let's go with Hyperdot. I've never heard of any of these games that you played this week, so you're gonna have to tell me all about them. What's Hyperdot?
Hyperdot is the best way that I could describe it is Geometric Wars on the 360.
Geometry
Without
Wars?
the shooting. Geometry Wars.
Geometry-
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay,
so
either way, yes, I do know what you're talking about.
it's been a long day. At work.
Fair.
So cancel out the shooting. It's you trying to avoid other basically shapes. Some attack you, some will just go in random places all over the place. And you've got anywhere between 10 seconds to a minute to avoid them to progress to the next level. It kind of has little other games inside that one game. So there's a like a capture the hill. You have to stay in your certain circle for however long until it disappears, and then move on to the next one to complete the level. Really, really good. Just thumbstick. That's all you have to do.
Does it
So easy.
does it remind you of like Asteroids at all? With how it's the way you're talking about it, kind of like it's a top down, and you're just kind of shooting in all
Yeah,
directions.
yeah. Well, you're not shooting though. You're literally just moving. That's all
Or
you have to do. And you
right,
have occasionally a power up where if you hit one of the power ups, it will wipe the map.
gotcha.
But it is so much fun. Easy. I was doing some Game Pass stuff,
Just
kind of
a
knocking off my rewards.
quick little
Yeah,
thing to dive into, I guess.
exactly. And like I said, I think the longest I played one level was possibly a minute. So it gives you that short, sharp, intense gameplay you need. And then, once you're fed up or bored, move on to the next one. It was a nice, refreshing
Just a great toilet
palate
game.
cleanser. If it was on my phone, that game would be played.
Yeah, you could probably play it on XCloud if you could play
My,
anything besides the Master Chief Collection.
yeah, on this POS. Can you get a camera? Yeah, there we go. God damn. Oh, hello, wife. Hello, child.
You just showed us your family.
You did.
Hi,
Indeed.
family.
Hey, yeah.
Cool. Sounds like a neat little game, maybe worth checking out. What was the file size on that? I always feel like those little games are probably like 400 megabytes or something, like just super like super quick to install and just check out.
I don't even think I don't know. I didn't check, but I'm sure it's not even a gig.
Okay.
I use the app all the time to download games, and it does pop up when it says it's installed. So it like automatically, once I pressed yes, 3 seconds went by and it was like, bing, ready. I was like, oh, that was
Yeah, so that's
small.
definitely a quick one. Good deal. All right, Moose. This one, I saw at PAX East when I was there, and the line for it was surprisingly long. I was gonna
surprisingly.
surprisingly long because I there was no lead up to it for me. I hadn't heard about it. And everybody had these like foam shark heads, and I was like, where did everyone get these? They got them from
the gameplay
from the booth from
Yeah.
Maneater, which you're checking out this week. Tell me about
so
it.
awesome, dude. It is an action RPG, third-person perspective of a bull shark. So starts out there's this son of a gun named Scaly Pete, and he's basically just a shark hunter, and he wants to wipe sharks off the face of the earth. And it starts out by classic Disney story. He catches your mom and guts her right there on the deck
Oh my
of the boat.
gosh.
And
Wow.
a baby shark comes out, and he picks up the shark, and it's just kind of messing with it, and he tags its fin. It takes its knife and tags its dorsal fin. He's like, I'll remember you when you grow older, and the baby shark bites his freaking arm off, like at the bicep. And so and then that's how the story starts. And you start out as a little pup bull shark, and then you got to eat anything and everything in your path to grow and expand on your abilities as far as like your tail and your bite. And like right now, I have a bite that has an electric shock to it. So
Oh
when
my
you bite
god, it's
things, they
total
just,
like shark
they stun
RPG.
'em. Yeah, dude, it is so cool.
That's
I
fun. I
love
mean,
this game.
even when you're just talking about like I just assumed it was like arcadey, like here's your level,
is.
like go. So
Yeah.
it is arcadey. But then when you're talking about like this deep story at the beginning of
Oh, yeah.
it, maybe not deep, but a story in general, like there's a reason you're doing this stuff.
And there's a great voiceover work. It's got actually a pretty good story to it so far. And then there's like a list of, I want to say like 8 or 10 different hunters that are like your kill tree in Assassin's Creed. And
Okay, yeah.
every time you get your infamy mark up, like kind of like GTA, the more you kill people and the more commotion you cause, the more people come and fight you.
Right.
Eventually, you'll trigger one of these like boss fights, and then after you kill one of the bosses, it gives you another skill or ability or something like that. So it gives you incentive to keep going up and up and up. And then there's story missions, there's side missions, there's like certain areas that you can't unlock, like Metroidvania, until you get a certain size and you can smash through the fences
Okay.
on the grates. So, dude, I'm having so much fun with this game. That may be the reason that I'm about an hour short of finishing our Game Pass game. because I've been just chomping everything, dude.
This sounds way deeper than I would have
Yeah,
thought it was, like at a surface level.
it's super deep. Like I haven't even unlocked like 4 or 5 of the abilities that I have yet.
But
I've
so you're
only
always the same shark then, because you have like a
yes,
main character, and
yeah,
that's
and
dude.
he's got a story, or she, I think it's a girl, and she's got a story that basically she's just trying to get back to Scaly Pete and take his life and anybody else's life that gets between them.
Makes sense.
I was
So
watching a few streams of this, and watching it is ridiculous because as
it's
you're
so cool.
yeah, as you're going through the sea, you can attack things that are smaller than you. And this one stream I was watching, they had alligators in there, so the gators were after you, and you were having to chomp on the smaller things in the sea, so you
Right.
could grow bigger or get bigger or stronger, however it works. So
Yeah.
you could spin round and then get the gators.
Exactly.
Absolutely unbelievable, this game.
Yeah. Just to say, when I was like a little pup, I would avoid the gators, and now they're like a two chomp snack, dude. Like I think most of the gators where I am are level 8, and I'm like level 14 or 15. So literally, I hit them twice, and they're just Scooby snacks.
And that's game over. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's like the perspective? Is this like a over the shoulder kind of like a third person,
Third person.
and it's just
So
completely underwater? You can't like jump out of the water or anything.
you definitely can jump out of the water. You can jump around on the water, like on land. Like I jumped onto a golf course and just started eating
Land
people.
shark.
Yeah, and you get abilities like that you can hold your breath off out of water longer. So I think I can do it for like 30 or 45 seconds now, just hopping around on land and just wrecking things. And then you have a tail ability too that you can just like launch people like 100 yards away with your tail.
Right. So when you're doing all this, are you, depending on like what your moves are and how you're killing things, I guess, is there like multipliers and like
Yeah.
scores popping up?
Yep.
So it is
Yep.
like arcadey in that sense then.
Absolutely.
That's
And it's
sweet.
arcadey because you are a shark and you're jumping about 75 feet out of the water
Fair.
and doing like aerobatics, and then you jump down and dive onto a fan boat and you can just sit on the fan boat and munch everybody up. And then the fan boat sinks and
Good lord.
I'm having so much fun. And
I,
I'm probably like, I don't know, a third to halfway through the game at this point.
that's sweet. And it's cool that you know that there's like a substantial end goal, like a final boss that
Right.
you're going to have
Yeah.
to beat. This game sounds like it's set up like
Yeah.
just perfectly.
The only complaint I do have is the controls because like your dodge roll, it feels like it should be like B or X for me,
Okay.
and it's your right bumper. But then your chomp button is right trigger. So you almost kind of got to
Oh,
do the claw method, with 2
Oh,
fingers up
yeah, that's
top.
weird.
So I need to go in and remap my buttons, but I've been trying to wait for somebody else to do it, and then I can just get it off Reddit. But so
Fair.
far I haven't had any luck, so I may have to pioneer the new button mapping for Maneater.
And then put it on Reddit.
Yeah, buddy.
Share it to the world.
Be Reddit famous.
Sweet. I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun. You picked
Yeah.
this up on Xbox, right?
Yep, $40. So
40. Okay.
ooh.
yeah, it's as soon as it goes on sale, I'd say pick it up because
Definitely.
this game is in my top 5 at this point right now. I'm having too much fun.
All right. I love it. Okay, cool. Well, speaking of dodging with RB,
No, nice.
I think we all hopped into a little Minecraft Dungeons.
Mind dung.
Oh, did you, Chocolate, or no?
No, I did
didn't,
not.
okay.
You know me. I try and stay away from the child games.
Right, Risky? The kids are calling it mind dung.
I know. I hate that so much. I'm fine.
Nobody's calling it that but us.
I'm fine abbreviating that when I need to text it, but if I'm just talking, I'm not gonna tell people I'm playing Mind Dung.
Sure, guy.
Yeah, so we're so Moose and I and other people, I'm assuming, have hopped into Minecraft Dungeons this week. It came out on Tuesday. I think it came out when the last
Yeah.
week's podcast dropped, right?
Right, 26th.
I spent a few hours with this. One night this week, I played with Dan, Lou, and Shopa, and it's a fun little game. It's Diablo Minecraft, I think, is the easiest.
Diablo Light, right?
Diablo, yeah, babies first. The comparison I had was like, it's like you have XCOM 2 and you have Mario vs. Rabbids. Like,
Right.
one's just a lighter version, and I think this is the lighter version of Diablo for sure. With that being said, having put a decent amount of time into like normal Minecraft, it's kind of cool seeing like the different creatures and animals and things that you're fighting in this game. But when it comes down to it, it's just it's a fun party, just dungeon crawl game with lots of different loot. A decent amount of loot, it seems like. You can either find loot from killing bad guys, obviously, but then every time you finish a mission at your home base, there's 2 vendors. One vendor will give you weapons or armor, and I think the other one does the
enchantments.
Is that what enchantments? The things at the bottom where you use like X, Y, and B, I think, to like fire them off or whatever. But yeah, the game's pretty challenging depending on what levels you're playing on. Like the very first level we ran, I think we ran it 3 different times, just at each different level of difficulty, if that makes sense. So like by the time we got to the third one, all of the things we were fighting were a little bit tougher, but you're obviously collecting better gear as you're going, so when you go back into those fights, they're just a little easier. And each one of your like weapons and armor, they do have random enchantment rolls, and you can put like stats into those, so there is a lot of like a decent amount of min maxing. Well, yeah, and right. I mean, and RNG. There's definitely a reason to keep replaying stuff to try to get better loot, but this is also, like most loot and shoot or slash and stash games, it's kind of like you're not looking for specific weapons and armor until you're at the end game, because otherwise you're just picking up whatever has the highest stats. Like you're not working on builds. It's the same thing with any of these type of games where until you're at max level and everything's dropping at max level, that's when you're going to start to look for specific gear, specific enchantments on gear. And if you want to play like that, it goes pretty deep, but on the surface level, I also think it's super accessible. Like if you're playing on the easier levels, it definitely can just be hack and slashy for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's pretty fun.
It's great because, you know, you can get super in depth with it, but you can also sit there and play with your 5-year-old, and they will have a blast.
Yeah, definitely. And
are you running the same dungeon over and over again, or does it?
No, it's a world, kind of like Super Mario World, and you got to go up a mountain.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said earlier, depending on the difficulty sliders, like you're gonna get better loot at the higher difficulty sliders. So it does give you some replayability for each level. So like there is reason to continue to play the same levels or go back to older levels, which is good. It kind of makes it so they're not irrelevant as soon as you get through them.
Right. And then I got, like, after playing just the first dungeon, I got some kind of like bonus level off to the side that was for specific loot or something.
Yeah, they're little like
it's like a side quest kind of.
Yeah, like a little side dungeon. You'll see like a brightly lit doorway, and if you walk through that, like the first time that happened to us, Waterloo saw it and he was like, "Oh, hey, there's something," and we were just kind of like, "Yeah, okay," and he ran into it, and then he was like, "Oh, there's sweet loot," so we like teleported to him. Which actually, I'll talk about that quick. They have a teleporting feature where if you hold down right stick, I think it is, you can teleport to any person that you're playing with, like within a few seconds. So if somebody's like, "Hey, I got this on me," you can just teleport to them instead of having to run and try to find them, which is super useful for this type of game where you can kind of get split up and go different ways. But yeah, those side dungeons are cool. I think we got through 2 of them, maybe, and both of them had like orange gear, which I'm assuming is the like top tier loot, because it's like tiered loot, as far as like green, blue, orange, that kind of stuff. So
right.
And they all had cool things, and there's cool variables to like your weapons. Like you have a bow slot, a melee slot, and then just a slot for your armor. So it's simple in that way, but you can get different bows that maybe like ricochet, or a bow that'll fire 3 bolts at once, or a bow that as you fire it shoots quicker and quicker. Like there's a couple different variations to it that are simple enough, but do give you a little bit of variety with your weapons, which is
I think
good.
I got one, like you said, that got a spread and shot 3 arrows.
Yeah.
And it only used 1 out of your inventory every time. So
that's
cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the enchantments you can get, I think one of the ones I saw on my bow, it was like a 40 or 50% chance that when you fired an arrow, it would replenish an arrow. So that just kind of like raises your stock of arrows up 50%, which is awesome. Especially
Right.
since they're pretty potent. It
Yeah.
felt like, at least, depending on what bow you were using.
Yeah, they seem like they were way more powerful than a melee attack.
Yeah, I did pick up a Thor's hammer, which was pretty dope.
Oh, nice. Can you throw
Shopa,
it?
no, you couldn't throw it. It was just a giant hammer.
Yeah.
But Shopa got an enchantment on one. I'm pretty sure it was one of the hammers that it was a lightning enchantment that could like chain lightning to the different characters and stuff. So he was literally just running around with a Thor hammer, just hitting stuff with lightning. It was pretty great.
That's cool.
I take it you can't kind of mash abilities all together to, well, I say abilities, all your weapons to create a super
Right.
No,
kind of Anthem style.
Kind of like, yeah, or what is it, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, how they have the team attacks.
Yeah.
right. No, there's nothing like that. But there is like, depending, like if you're at the end game of this, I think it would be useful where someone can build like, you could actually build like a healer, because there are like different healing. There's a healing totem and a couple other things like that, and you could build somebody who's just a tank and who can soak up a bunch of damage. Or there's a bunch of ways that you can craft your character without having to pick a specific class like at a start screen. Like you don't pick a ranger, you don't pick a thief or something, but you kind of have the ability to build them that way if you want, with some time and patience, I would say. But yeah, it's cool when you're done with weapons, or because obviously you're going to be, at least until you get to end game, you're going to be cycling through weapons, and your lower tier stuff you can't really raise them up as far as I knew. So you just kind of break them down, and it'll give you X amount of gems and any enchantment like stones that you used to put enchantments on the weapons. So that's kind of cool that you do get that currency back. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun for what it is, for sure.
You gonna finish it?
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty short. So yeah, I definitely will finish it. Because we only played the one night, but I think we played maybe almost 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. So,
right.
And from what I heard, it's not super long to get through like the initial playthrough.
Yeah, I know Scottman crushed it like first 2 or 3 days that it came out.
Right. So, yeah, it seems like it's worth seeing what the getting to the end game and seeing kind of what that looks like, because that's the most important part with a lot of these games, like Diablo. Like nobody's playing it for the story more than once. Like you get through the story once, and then you're doing end game stuff. You're
right,
whatever that may
you're
be.
just doing whatever the season is, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it'll be.
And then they also announced yesterday or the day before that their first DLC pack is going to be in the jungle. So it looks like a Mayan ruins or Incan type theme. So.
It does seem like one of those games that'll be supported for, I mean, especially with Microsoft backing it.
Right.
And the amount of money that Mojang brings in just through Minecraft in general. So
I was going to say, can you see loads of microtransaction-y skins appearing in this?
yeah.
I like the way you're like,
I think it definitely could be like some transmog stuff where it's like you might find the best armor, but if you want to put a skin over it that makes it look this way, it's like $3 or $5 or whatever, which is a fine way. Like it's not a loot box. It's, you know exactly what you're paying for if that is how they want to do it, or if you want to buy a skin for a pet, because that's one of the things you can throw. You can throw like a bone and an animal will come out. Or I think Lou had a dog at one point where he would like click the bone button and then the dog would come out and start attacking. And then I found a thing of wheat, and when I would click it in, a llama would come out, and it's a ranged like helper, and he would just be spitting at the enemies because that's what llamas do.
That's
so
awesome.
That was pretty hilarious. But with the type of game it is, it seems like there's just endless opportunities to kind of throw whatever weird shenanigans they want into that game, because it doesn't need to be grounded in any type of way. And Minecraft has a lot of different stuff going on with it, like the base game, with stuff that's not in this game. So plenty of room for expansion, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So it's cool. Play it with your family, play with your wife. That's what I'm going to do, is just play through it a little bit of it one night each week and See what we can do.
Yeah, and Bear, I'd give it a shot. I don't know if you are into these type of games.
Well, do you know what? I think I'm gonna say it now.
Oh
Next
boy.
week, I am I am gonna play two. That's right, two child games. I think one, I'm gonna jump on the Pokemons, and my
You stop calling
second,
these child games.
I'm gonna go on Mind Dung, and I'm gonna see how dungy Mind Dung is.
All right, look
Like,
forward to that and what does chocolate hate in games next week.
Yep.
I bet you the age demographic for both those games is probably way higher than
Yeah.
you think it is.
Yeah, there's tons of
especially
30-somethings
Pokemon.
playing the Pokemans.
And that's been around forever. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm pushing almost the wrong side of the 30s, aren't I?
do you know
Time
which
to quit the games, Bear?
do you know
Could
which
be.
Pokemon you're grabbing?
I don't know. Blue, orange.
No, don't go blue.
It's Sword or Shield.
Oh,
I meant
okay.
which game. Sorry, not which like starter Pokemon.
I don't know. I've downloaded it. I think it's Sword.
Okay. Not that I know the difference between the two.
I haven't got a clue. It's whatever Chaotic's got. Me and him are
Starter,
now.
though. Are you going leaf? Are you going water?
Ooh,
Or are you
yeah.
going
What
fire?
which
Fire.
which
I'm all
element do you
about the
like?
fire.
Fire. Score
I'm gonna
Bunny.
bring
That
it.
guy is creepy looking when he gets his third
Alright.
evolution.
His final evolution.
Do you think I'm going to play it that long?
If it's chocolate, it's fine.
That's true. He just made a really good point. He's never going to see the final evolution of that Pokemon,
That's
so it
true,
doesn't
too, yeah.
matter.
He won't even see the first
I
evolution.
didn't, he's not going to leave Pallet Town. It's not Pallet Town, whatever it is in that game. Too funny. So yeah, I look forward to you just pooping on
Yeah.
Pokemon next week.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That'll be the
Can't
name of
wait.
the segment: pooping on Pokemon with chocolate.
Oh God.
So yeah, Moose and I are definitely into Minecraft Dungeons. It's free in Game Pass, so no reason not to check it out, especially if you are a fan of games like Diablo. All right, let's go back to chocolate. Tell me about Castle Pals.
Oh, this game I've fallen in love with. So
Oh, jeez.
the best way to describe it is Super Mario. It is a Super Mario game in the castles, in your dungeon as you're going through the boss level. You play as two alternate characters. One has the ability to punch the enemy, and the other character has the ability to fly. He has one of those baseball caps with the propeller on top. Oh, fantastic! Yeah, and each level is built around that character that you play. So you play. I think it works out that you play them alternate as you're going through the level.
So it's not like a swap in and swap out when you need
Yeah,
a specific character.
is definitely each level is designed for that specific character
Okay.
to
Gotcha.
play. Unfortunately, you can't swap in, swap out. It's a game from Ratalaika, which I do enjoy.
Get those
because
achievements.
They just vomit achievements at you. Yeah, do you know what? It's fun. Again, it was another short, sharp game, a little bit like Hyperdot. I think the levels were at max 45 seconds. Potentially, if you were god awful, you had to replay that 3 or 4 times. But just great fun. Just great fun. Like I said, all you need to do is picture the kind of the boss level of a Super Mario game as you're going through the castle or the flying ship. So
Yeah.
it was all fire. It was all
It's all castle
You-
levels.
yeah. It was really really good. And some of the kind of the traversing through, it was a platformer. It is a platformer, I should say. And as you're traversing through some of the levels, when you have the boy with the cap, lava starts raising. There's spikes on the you have really kind of millimeters to go through this underpass as such, and you know that if you die, you have severely screwed up. Yeah, so much fun, so much fun. Really have
So-
enjoyed it.
This was another Game Pass one then.
No, this was it's a game I'm reviewing.
Oh,
So
okay, cool.
it's, yeah. So
Where are you playing
yeah.
it at?
Sorry.
What platform are you playing on?
It's on the Xbox.
It's-
on
yeah,
the
okay.
Xbox. It would be again, as we always say, these type of games. It would be
Perfect.
superb. Yeah, it is a Switch game by heart. It's 16 plus bit kind of graphics. It's it is wonderful. A joy to play. Really do enjoy it.
Bringing it up on. I just googled it quick, but
I'm just watching
it's
trailer,
also
yeah.
free on the Google Play App Store on phones. So
Oh, sweet.
the game is on phones if you do want to check it out, and it's free as well. But the synopsis, it says, one night Kylie and Owen stumbled upon creepy Castle Pukapik and decided to uncover its secrets. Nothing could possibly go wrong, could it?
Could it?
Well, I'm glad you're uncovering those mysteries. Is anything going wrong yet?
Apart from me playing it.
Bear dies a lot
Me
in this
playing
game
it.
from what I'm watching. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you look at the trailer, you can see that if you die, that there is a damn good reason you've died. It's nothing to the controls are tight, so it is you
It's your
messing up
fault,
a jump,
right.
yeah, or you haven't timed flying across a lava pit or I'm trying to think what else. There was one where I had lasers kind of shooting across. Really gave me massive vibes of the old kind of platformers that you would play as a kid. Well, as I was a kid, you guys weren't around when I was.
So
a
I
kid,
wasn't
but
born
anyway.
yet. So
Yeah.
Nope. No, but not many people were, Bear.
Shots fired.
Cheers for that. Cheers for that.
All right.
You're all invited to my 40th.
Perfect. All right, and then the last game, or actually, Chocolate. I'm gonna make you talk again. Sorry, I know how much you love talking. So,
Thank you.
Level Head. Funny enough, I played a few levels of this like an hour ago because you brought it up. What's going on with Level Head? This reminds me of like Super Mario Maker Robot Edition.
Yeah, kind of a Compare the Meerkat type character, isn't it? The robot from Compare the Meerkat, if you know the advert. But
No.
you're a strange. Okay, lost.
It reminds me of like a Wall-E robot or something.
Okay. Well, I'll drop the picture in Discord.
All right, perfect.
So it is, again, kind of like I'm trying to think of it now. Another platformer, but it also has the kind of you collect not stars, they're diamonds as you're going through the level. You need to kill enemies to progress, but also when you finish your level, there is a timer to it, and it kind of multiplies. So if you kill all the enemies, get all the stars and diamonds, and find a secret, kind of all of a sudden it adds up all your score and gives you like this big, huge
Right. Yeah.
score.
It looks like it was based on like the amount of gems, the amount of enemies, the amount of. I think there's like secret puzzle pieces eventually.
Yeah.
Like it was a few different things, and then the time obviously, and then it kind of just jumbles all that up in some mathematical formula, and then spits out a
and then
number
gives
at you.
Whatever your score is. It was just a strange game. All of a sudden, I think I saw it. Again, I was probably trying to get some sort of Play Game Pass game for some more Microsoft rewards.
Right.
But again, that's something else that was good fun. For some reason, I was jumping on the Game Pass games this week, and this one again was just good fun. It's the puzzles were good.
Yeah, and I think the main focus here is, well, maybe not the main focus, but a big part of the game is creating levels, and you can actually share them with people and whatnot, and you can play community made levels, that kind of stuff. Because once you get a few levels into it, you have to go through. I don't know if you have to. You might be able to skip it, but I didn't. It gives you a whole tutorial of how to build levels.
Okay.
And it seems like you can really. It just reminds me completely of Mario Maker, like drag and drop different textures. You can drop different enemies. You can drop those gems in all sorts of different places. There's levers for doors. Also
Switches, keys, and
switches, keys. You can. They're literally any tool or any piece of a level that you would see playing through the normal campaign. It's available in their level creator to make your own stuff, and I think if you go to some of the like top rated levels made by the community, which I didn't get a chance to do, but they're probably actually like super impressive because it's a snappy creation tool as far as getting to all the different like textures or all the different enemies or whatever. It's quick. It would go faster on a PC when you have mouse and like a mouse to click around and stuff, but for what it is, you can drag drop, you can copy paste, there's a lot to it. And I think when you make a game like this where the levels can be created by the community, it just kind of is like an endless possibilities. Like the game's infinite because there's so many levels created by the community, which is cool.
Yeah, never-ending game, doesn't it? All of a sudden, it turns into a game that, well, you don't need to do anything. You've got your community to drive your game forward.
Yeah, it's it was a fun little game though. I didn't get that far into it, obviously, but I do think the whole creation aspect of it and being able to share levels with people makes it quite unique. It's not just a platformer. There is a little bit more to that game than meets the eye originally. So
yeah, I need to. I haven't touched any of the creation, so I might go back through and have a look, and I may try and have a dabble at a community level for us.
That's what you could do that for 2 months time. Game Pass thing. We'll just the three of us will create a stupid hard level and then see who can get the best score on it. Although that might be unfair if we create it and know exactly how to beat it. But that's how you protect the money, right? So
this is it. If we're giving money away, we need to protect it.
Exactly. What better way than a fortress of poorly made level design and
just a shoebox of just those kind of Bowser dropping blocks with the spikes on them.
Right.
Whiskey, do you know if it's like Mario Maker that you have to actually beat the level before you can submit it for other people to play?
It has to be, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm not positive because I didn't create one. Like the one you create, it doesn't get like saved and uploaded or anything. It's just kind of of a basic tutorial. But yeah, like in what world could you submit something for everybody to play and try to beat if there's no way to beat it?
Yeah.
So I would assume so that you have to beat it yourself.
Right.
It's probably the best safeguard for a
or
level creation.
Possible levels.
Right. So yeah, neat little game though for sure. All right. Anybody else have anything going on with their usual?
We didn't play any other games this week.
We played a little bit of DayZ, Moose.
No, we didn't.
All right. I just want to tell one DayZ story.
That's fine.
Because it was
I'm blaming this completely on you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And I'll take blame. Like most of the things I've put you through in DayZ so far, I'm at fault.
You're not putting a good best foot forward on this game, that's for sure.
No, not for you, and I apologize. All right, so like I explained last week, when you spawn in as a fresh spawn in DayZ, you get sent down to the coast, way away from your friends, and then the initial half hour to an hour of a new spawn is you trying to get back to your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
without dying of hunger or zombies or thirst or what else could weather or pretty much anything wants to kill you.
Yeah, your shoes getting worn and then getting some cuts on your feet will kill you. So
yeah, dude, sliding down a ladder too fast will put abrasions on your hands, and if you don't put band-aids on them, then you'll bleed out.
Oh my god. All right, so Moose had died in one way. I did not kill him with a pickaxe, although this might have been your fresh spawn after that. This might have been the first time you tried playing since then.
No, I was doing good, dude. I had all the loot. I had everything going.
So he finally did it. We found an awesome little meeting spot. It was a crossroads that wasn't too far from our group. It wasn't too far from Moose. We finally got there, and we were like, all right, Moose, we're at this crossroad. Where you at? And he's like, yeah, I'm right here. Like, there's a table.
Picnic table, bro.
There's a picnic table. And we're like, oh, yeah, the picnic table. Maybe we're...
the one with the map next to it, right?
The one with the map. The one with the... There's a canteen on the table, too, right? Yep, there was.
Yep, I grabbed that canteen. So did Dan. That was the first clue that something was amiss.
Yeah, and so, like, the initial thought, you have a map that you're playing on the side on an app or something that lets you know exactly where everybody is if they ping themselves correctly. So we were like, all right, well, maybe we aren't where we think we are.
No,
Moose isn't
you
where
guys
he
are all
think
like,
we
Moose
are.
is dumb. He doesn't know where he's at. We need to go find
I didn't
him.
want to straight up just pin it on you. But we were like, okay, maybe Moose is a little confused and that he's not at the right crossroads. And like, there's a lot of similar buildings and like areas.
They didn't take a whole lot of time making anything look, unique or custom.
Right. So it was like maybe there's another crossroads in the woods somewhere, and we'll figure this out quick. But no, we came to realize that we were in the same exact spot.
Yep.
We were both there. Moose, however, was on a separate server than we were.
Because I messaged you on Discord and said, same server, right? And you said, yep. That's all you said.
Yep. And
So I went up in our text history and found the same server that we were talking about, and I went into that server.
yeah, so the what had happened there is that the one time that I had played with Moose, we were in like a weird Michigan server. It was just kind of like an in-between spot. And we played that one night. That was the only time the two of us had played together. We played on that Michigan server, and that was the end of it. Since that time, I had played multiple hours on a different server, a New York server, with everybody else. So when you're like, same server, right? In my head, I was like, yeah, why would it be a different server? We've been using the server literally the entire time. Maybe you had not been using that server at all, because we were in literally the same exact spot on two different servers. And at that point, you're kind of defeated because you finally got from the shore. You survived long enough to get inland to meet up with your friends, and then it turns out you're on the wrong server. And the thing that sucks is even if you try to go to the correct server, it's going to spawn you somewhere else, because your spawn, like where you leave on a server, is where you respawn on that server. So if you've never been on the server that you're joining, you're going to start on the shore. So
Yeah, and the best part about that was when I came into the actual correct server, I spawned in about 13 feet from another player, and they killed me real quick.
Man. We tried figuring out a way that we could use the in-game chat and also be in a party without having to like use Discord on our phones or something. So the idea that I'd come up with was, let's use Skype. Like, Skype's owned by Microsoft. There's a Skype app on the Xbox. So we had 5 of us in a Skype party, which you can close. Like, you can be playing a game and be in a party chat on your Xbox through Skype.
Oh, okay.
So we did that.
Game chat.
But it still cancels out game chat for whatever reason. So we tested it out. I hopped out of the Skype call, and I was right near Dan. And he should have been able to hear me using the in-game chat, because you can always hear people in in-game chat no matter what, but you can't talk back to them. So we tried it, and it didn't work. And at this point, it's kind of like, what do you do? Unless you have, like, with your headsets, I think you guys both have the 9Xs, right?
Right. It'll do Bluetooth, so I could be Discord and party chat at the same time.
But then it's kind of like, well, you can't tell everybody to go out and buy $200 headsets just so we can talk in-game to people. Like, obviously.
Right.
So
And they don't like block each other out either, because like a lot of times I'll be listening to a podcast or something in my headphones with the game volume really low.
Right.
And when I get into a party chat, I have to turn the podcast off because there's just too much going on.
Right, which makes sense. I think background music, if you're playing some music, maybe it would be a little easier.
3 or 4 different audio sources at once, and my brain can't
too
process
much.
that.
Way too much. So yeah, it kind of sucks that we couldn't figure that out. But when I took, so I'm also playing with Meg a little bit, and she had died. Dude, I could have a Daisy podcast where I just tell you stories about these stupid interactions that we have with people. So Dan and I are in one town that was a little far inland. Meg was coming away from the coast in towards us, and she ran into these 3 guys in game. We can hear their chat, obviously. So they're all like holding weapons to her and stuff, and they're like, hey, drop your shotgun, and we'll let you go. So she did it, obviously, because otherwise you're just going to get beat to death and have to respawn. But
Her, huh?
what?
And then they killed her.
No, so they didn't kill her, but Dan and I at that point were on the same road as her. We were just maybe like a couple kilometers away, so we're just sprinting as fast as we can towards these kids, while Megan is kind of just walking like slowly, like with her like back to them, just like, okay, just like I'm gonna walk down the road, but they like wouldn't leave her alone. They took her guns and stuff. So we saw her coming way down the road, and Dan and I just hid behind some bushes, and then 3 of these kids walk up. And then we just started unloading on them, and they were like, oh my God, she's got friends. And we just started murdering these kids, but they messed up Megan pretty bad. And she lost a ton of blood. Like, she had a bunch of cuts, and if you don't bandage them, your guy's just going to bleed out.
And then
So
you just pass out like every 14 seconds.
And that's what kept happening. She kept passing out, and eventually you're going to die because you don't have enough blood.
Right.
What we had was a blood bag. So we risked taking some blood out of Dan, not knowing anyone's blood types, and transfusing it into Megan, hoping that they had the same blood type. Needless to say, they did not have the same blood type. And Megan we put the new blood in her that was Dan's that did not match up. Instantly dead. Instantly.
It's like putting gasoline in a diesel tank, huh?
Exactly. But like at that point, it's like, oh, you're either going to die. So let's just, maybe Dan's a universal donor and we'll be fine. But no.
Why did you not want to give her blood?
Dan just happened to have the bag in his inventory, I guess. I don't know.
Because if they both would have died, then, what was the point of that?
Right. So it was kind of give it a shot, but
at least her memory lives on now.
Exactly. It's such a weird game. It just being able to tell that story that came out of a video game is just, it's kind of incredible in its own way. And I don't think you don't get those type of scenarios from a lot of games. But a huge part of that is the whole in-game chat part, and bringing it back to that. It's kind of, you're missing out if you can't communicate with people in game. So like when I play solo, I always am mic'd up, and there's been a couple of times where you run into someone on the coast, and they'll help you out if you actually talk to them. But like if you're just teabagging near them and jumping around and not responding to them, like they're gonna kill you, because why? I'm not gonna waste my time on you. But if you talk to him, I ran into a nice dude. He cooked up some food for me. He's like, all right, man, good luck. And then just like sent me on my way. Like, you have normal conversations when you can actually talk to people. But
my version of a nice guy in that game is somebody that just hits me in the head with a hammer but doesn't kill me and just takes all my stuff.
Thanks for knocking me out and robbing me. But hey, at least I don't have to respawn on the coast.
Yeah, exactly. I know where I'm at right now.
Oh, good fun. So yeah, I'm still playing that. I think we had like 6 people in it the other night. Dan and I went to the airfield, which is a big military place, and got smoked by 3 dudes with a bunch of guns. So that was we had our first big PvP like battle with actual guns and stuff. So that was neat. I can see that being fun, but at the same time, that's like a 15-hour spawn right there that you get murdered and everybody takes your stuff, and well, you're starting over. So
see you tomorrow, kids.
Yeah. So you gotta build some bases, maybe bury some stuff, hide some supplies, so we're not starting from scratch when we do die. But anyways, that's been your Daisy 10 for the week.
Yeah.
So
just go ahead and make sure to put X's anywhere stuff's buried on that map for me, would you?
Yeah, no problem. We stashed a meat bag the other day in a town. We were like, hey, there's a bag of meat, so anybody that needs food, just stop here and pick some up on your way in. Like,
because I will dig it up and I will share it amongst the community.
Exactly.
Whether you want to or not.
Oh no, it's not going to be willingly. It'll be over my dead body, but it should.
Definitely. All right, do you guys have any more games like that? I know we'll still talk about the community play because that did happen, but anything outside of that? Are you guys good?
Nah.
Next week.
All right, sweet. All right, we did have a community play this past Saturday. We played some golf with friends. It was actually a decent turnout. I think we had 9 or 10 people at one point. People that showed up, I'll just shout them out quick. Bacon Cheeseburgs, Scooby-Doo, Zach the Ripper, Meg was there, Dan Pod, Waterloo, Chaotic. Everybody, thanks for showing up. That was
3. All 3 hosts made it.
And all 3 hosts. Look at us.
They did.
Oops. So yeah, it was. If you're not, I mean, do I need to explain what Golf with Friends is? It's a mini golf game.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's lots of different courses. Some being incredibly hard compared to others, like the haunted house level.
Oh yeah, haunted house is pretty tough too.
Awful. That was absolutely awful. I hate that.
There's
game.
like cobwebs you had to roll the ball up that I couldn't see half the time, or like ghosts that would just swallow up the ball or move it for some reason. It's like,
You'd have
what
to
is
fly
happening?
off the table, and it was a nightmare.
But it's cool.
Candyland. That was a cool.
The Candyland, yeah. and I think we played a pirate level, we played a forest level, and didn't you say there's like
I think there's 15, like 12
15
or 15 different courses.
different courses, which seems pretty expansive because they're 18 holes a piece too. So
Right.
it's not like 9 holes or anything.
Yeah, they're all different themes and different, completely different maps.
Yeah. So, and initially when I had gone into this game, I was thinking, like, if we have 10 people, let's say, and it takes each person a minute to complete a hole, like, this is going to take all night. But little did I know, like, you're all hitting at the same exact time, but there's just no ball collision. So you can see everybody's balls and how they're hitting and where they're hitting and all that stuff.
Phrasing?
But it's going to be tough to talk about this game, strokes and shafts and balls, without it
Balls
getting
and
weird.
holes is all we talked about last night, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it makes it simple to get through it, and I think that, like, Dan is in chat right now, and he said it needs ball collision, but
Could you imagine?
I just don't like. I don't know how a ball collision might work if the starts are staggered. I guess,
Or
like,
if you could take the timer off.
or if there's no timer, something like if you just have options to mess with. But if 10 people are trying to hit their ball right off the bat, like, your initial shot's just gonna get screwed up if somebody hit at the same exact time as you. So maybe you stagger the first 10 shots, and then it's kind of like, all right, go. And if you hit another ball, you hit another ball. But
I love Dan there to say, nah, free for all.
right,
I
and
know,
like,
the way that Infinite Mini Golf does it is the first shot is not ball collision, but then everything after that is.
Yeah, I would imagine that has to be how it's played. Otherwise, it would be an absolute mess.
Right. But I did want to mention that if you don't, you have what, like a minute and 45 seconds per hole. And if you don't sink it by that time, you get the course max +2, which is 14. And that cripples your score. So I'm actually just filling in now for Megan because she's now the new third podcast host. She won it last night in mini golf. So I'll just be filling in for her when she can't make it now.
yeah, they made a wager that Meg would
Well,
shoot
no,
better
let's see.
than. Well,
Let's go back here a little bit because I smoked her when we first made the wager, and then she's like, "I wasn't playing. That was
a warm up.
Yeah. Then the next one, she beat me by like 40 strokes.
It was rough. You joined the 100 club on that one.
I joined the 100 club on that one, and it was all karma because I was talking so much trash to her because I think she did like 120 or 130.
Yeah, it was up there.
Yeah. So supposedly I'm supposed to be shipping her my 1X also, but we'll see if that happens.
Taking her spot. She's taking your spot on the podcast and your Xbox. Great.
Yeah. She just straight up punked me, dude.
She did. But the game,
Golf shark.
yeah, right. It's just ridiculous fun, and like, if somebody is having a tough time and everybody else is already in, everyone is spectating you, which just puts so much pressure on the people that are already having a bad time trying to get the ball in the hole. But then you have
God.
9 other people staring at you, just laughing at every shot you take.
Yeah, my elevator incident.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was the best.
There's like,
Get off the treadmills.
yeah, there's these treadmills. There's 3 of them, and then the hole was like in between 2 of them. And every time Bear would hit the ball, it would just take this little treadmill to the end of the wall and then bounce off it. And every time he hit the ball, it would just send it to a different treadmill, and he just couldn't get the ball in the hole. Not even close.
14 on that one, didn't you, Bear?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I had to just lay my putt down and take it.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you put the ball in the hole, you can hit A and just spectate around. And even when you're playing everybody's ball, you can see it on the course, and it does have their name right above it, so you can see how everyone's doing. We did have people who were like super helpful, because Bacon Cheeseburgs and Zach the Ripper and Scooby Doo, I think those 3 had definitely played it before, so they'd be like, I think this is like 3.5 like power meter, so maybe hit it there and try. So it's like everybody was kind of helping each other out, which was nice. And I just,
But it was that trepidation of, are they actually
that's-
helping me, or are they just
It's a whole
absolutely
different
pulling my
game.
trousers down here?
Lie detector test whether it was BS or not. Right?
Yeah, because I would try some of those, like, yeah, it's 3.5, and then I'd hit it, and my ball would just ricochet off the jump and just go 3,000 miles in the wrong direction. I'd be like, eh.
It was pretty forgiving though, because you don't get any penalty shots for hitting it off the map.
Right. It's just a new
Start over.
right. So it was a lot of fun. It was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Like,
Right, because I tried it out by myself yesterday before it started, and I was like, this game's kind of underwhelming. I'm not impressed or having a whole lot of fun. But as soon as you get 10 people in there and
Yeah.
a little competition and a little bit of rivalry going, then it's a great time.
Yeah, it's cool seeing the updated scorecards after every hole. I'm like, oh, I'm right behind you, or like just
seeing a 14, how drastically it just crushes your scorecard.
Weren't you leading at one point, Moose, when we first started playing, and then you just tanked big time?
On that second round, 2 out of the first 4 holes, I took a 14 out.
that'll do it.
Okay. Well, looks like I'm out of the running here. And then Megan was just chirping the rest of the game. It was great.
Sounds like Meg. Speaking of 14s, it kind of sucked a couple times. I remember specifically it happened to Dan once at least, where his ball just landed in a weird out of bounds spot that for whatever reason it couldn't tell that it was an out of bounds spot, so it didn't correct itself.
Yeah.
And every shot he took just was straight out of bounds. So if he was having a good round, it was like, well, yeah, you get a 14 for this hole. And like you said, a 14 crushes you. Like if it's a par 2 and you hit out of bounds and you're just stuck there, like you're done.
Yeah, pretty much, especially if, it's a competitive round and everybody's trying, a 14 just knocks you completely out of it.
Right. But I could see this being a ton of fun. I think it holds up to 12, we decided, right?
Yeah, 12.
And as much as that sounds like way too much, like it's not at all, because people's balls being hit around you and seeing all this stuff, it doesn't affect your game whatsoever. Yeah, it's really good. There's a ton of courses. It is simple, very simple golf. It's not even like the mechanics are hardly mechanics at all. You kind of point a direction. You can literally move the power meter to wherever you want and then leave it there, and then just you tap A. There's no like triple tap or like flick the joystick or anything. It's just
no bar that you got to
super easy.
Yeah.
There is a jump somewhere though that we found out.
In the water only.
Yeah, that.
If your ball goes in the water, you can just hit A as much as you have momentum,
and it'll hop around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some of there's cosmetic stuff you can earn, like ball toppers and floaty devices and ball trails and that kind of stuff. So there are those fun little things to earn, I suppose. But I wouldn't play this by yourself. Like Moose said, it's definitely an awesome party game that can hold a ton of people.
But stay tuned for later because you're going to be playing it by yourself.
Ooh, all right. Spoilers. Well, speaking of playing games by yourself, this is a Game Pass Roulette episode, so let's get into some Game Pass Roulette. All right, so this month's Game Pass Roulette game was Deliver Us the Moon. Deliver Us the Moon is a sci-fi thriller set in an apocalyptic near future where Earth's natural resources are depleted. A lone astronaut is sent to the moon on a critical mission to save humanity from extinction. We were that lone astronaut, and we were sent to make sure that we could save humanity. First of all, how did you guys enjoy this game?
It made me a little bit anxious, if I'm being honest.
That's fair. Was it a lot of the timed stuff?
Yeah, downs, and then also just like there was one point that I almost just shut the game off.
Oh.
Because things that like repeat themselves over and over again just become like a hammer on my head.
Yeah.
At some point there was just like an alarm or something that kept going off, and I could not figure out what I needed to do to stop it, and it was probably a good 5 minutes of this alarm going off, and I was just like, I may not be able to finish this game, but luckily I was able to figure it out and shut down the alarm. So
that's when you throw it on mute and go straight to Google, and you're like, okay, I'll come back in a few minutes.
Yeah, and I definitely turned the game volume or the music way down because it was,
really?
It was a little bit overwhelming for me. Just
okay,
it was way too loud.
That's fair. It wasn't because the music was bad or anything.
Right.
Okay.
No, music wasn't bad at all. It was just it was taking my focus away from the game. Right.
So, I think the main story of the game is that this, oh man, I'm not going to remember the name of it. It's like a MPT. Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that.
Like a weird microwave transmitter thing. It shoots down energy to Earth from the moon, and what happens is that little energy system thing gets shut down on the moon, so you have to go up there and figure out what's going on. So the initial sequence is you getting ready to take off and fly to the moon to go check it out. But like this was the very first time where you realize how stressful this game can get, because you have to get this rocket ship ready to go, and you have a sandstorm coming in, and if you don't launch quickly enough, you're not going to be able to launch because of the sandstorm, obviously. And you do have a timer right at the top of the screen, so you know how much time you have. You have to engage the fuel valves or something and do all this stuff, and then you have to actually go up into your ship. Once you're in your ship, the whole like launch sequence thing is that that hurt some people's brains. I heard that
I got the achievement.
Okay, somebody wrote dumb achievement here.
Yep,
Is that you, Bear?
No, yeah, Dan mentioned it in Discord.
Okay.
And I was like, because I messed up the launch once and didn't get the achievement. And then they were talking about this achievement. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I've got no idea how you got this achievement. So I'm going to have to like listen up, because I've got no idea.
I didn't realize that the launch sequence for those little switches that you flip in the cockpit was right there on the wall next to you.
Yeah.
So a lot of games it's just trial and error. Like that game. What was it? Where you had to, there's 4 game pieces, and then there's 4 colors, and you've got to choose the pattern and the arrangement of the colors, and then every time you get them right or wrong, you get a clue. So that's what kind of game I thought it was, and it was definitely not that. It was just look to your left and follow the rules.
It's hey, you're trained on how to do this, but in case you don't remember, we have a whole chart here that'll tell you exactly what to do.
So if you mess up 5 times, then you get an achievement that says, Houston, we have a problem.
Oh my God. 5
Fantastic.
times.
I think it's 5 times, yeah. Is that right, Dan? I think he's in chat still.
That's nuts. So when I got into it, I don't know. For whatever reason, I didn't have an issue with that part of the game, but even doing it, because obviously it was my first try, I think I got that timer down to like 3 seconds where my dude finally pulled like the thruster to start going. And it's so immersive when you're doing these things, especially when you're in the first person perspective in this game, that I was just like, my hands were like sweaty watching that timer go down and me trying to flip the switches and get this thing ready to go before this sandstorm hits. And actually, I'll go into one of the first pieces of feedback that were left by the community. This piece was from Sweeney. He said he thinks the game has missed a trick. It'd be a perfect xCloud game, and this is where I want to disagree, because I do think that I had such a good time with this game because I was playing on a big screen with headphones in, with lights off, and I was super immersed in the world. And I think playing it on my tiny phone from the toilet was probably not the way to play this game, for me at least.
Yeah, there's a lot of text to read, isn't there?
I was going to say, doing that, just that kind of launch sequence, that would have been an absolute dreadful time doing it on a phone.
Right.
But I can also understand why he was saying that it could be a great xCloud game, because it's a single player. Some of the
story,
especially at the beginning, there wasn't too much to kind of sit and read, and when you did have to read, you had the ability to, when you picked something up, press A to air quotes read it, but the text would then come forward onto the screen. So potentially that's where the good part would be. Oh, we are just getting raided.
Sweet.
Exactly what all of our audio podcast listeners wanted to hear. So make sure you mark that one down so I can delete it from that.
You're welcome.
What's up, Bender?
So awkward. I love you so much. So I'll go into another piece of feedback. It was one of our most substantial ones. This one came in from Dan Pod. He says, I rolled credits on this last night. I really enjoyed this game, actually. It's entirely a story through discovery game, kind of like finding echoes in The Division. combined with environmental storytelling like what the Fallout series does. All in all, I really liked it. The art style and tone they set with music is perfect for the setting. You can mainline the whole thing in probably 5 to 6 hours, but this is also a game you could spend 20 hours combing over every room and every level to find all the secrets. All in all, for an indie title, I give this a solid 9 out of 10. Would definitely recommend to anyone looking for a story to get lost in for a little while.
Yeah. It's very good.
That last line there, like if you're looking for a story to get lost in for a little while, I think that nails it on the head.
Right.
A big part of the storytelling as well, he mentioned, like if you've played The Division, you could go up to the echoes and it would kind of replay scenes from the past with little like orange holograms. And that's where you get a bulk of your storytelling out of this game. Throughout the space station on the moon, you're going to run into them and you get to see, because that's what you're there for. You're flying up there to see what the hell happened and why everything got shut down. And that's how you're kind of figuring that out and piecing things together. That and obviously finding notes and reading all the collectibles, that kind of stuff. But I think it was a cool way to do it because it wasn't just like an audio log of listening to like people talk about what was happening or like the audio from that segment in time. Having the visual aids there were really helpful, I feel like, compared to if it was just audio logs.
Yeah, definitely. It shows, like when it shows you the turmoil and the urgency that the people, they didn't want to leave. Something's obviously amiss or awry, and they're being escorted off the premises immediately. And I think with having those, holograms or whatever they are shown, it kind of, helps out quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And there's even one point that's later in the game where there's I mean, I feel like I can spoil this stuff because everybody should have played through it or come close enough, but you get to witness a murder at some point, like a homicide with a screwdriver at one point. And even just watching that through that lens, like with the hologram, it hits you hard because it's somebody that you're attached to in the story. So it's kind of like, damn, why do I feel like this watching this hologram? But you hear like the audio, you hear the people like screaming and talking and doing all this stuff, and it's really well done for being a indie title, as Dan stated. Like it's.
And, like I said, it makes me feel anxious just from the audio, the way that you're just isolated by yourself and that people had been there before and there's nobody there anymore. And you're just trying to, what happened here type deal. And also, once you're outside and in those like rover vehicles, the visuals are amazing. That game is so good outside.
Yeah. And I just think there's way more to it than just kind of like walking around the space station. Like there's a bunch of like set pieces that are the best part of the games in my opinion. Like when you're rolling up to the space station originally and that explosion happens and you need to get from outer space back into the space station where you're hitting the oxygen packs like just as you're about to die every single time. Like, and there's no like sound because you're in space. Like it's so well done. The audio and the music, it sets it up perfectly.
They did something with that sound. Like every time you went into space, it was like a kind of an echoey.
Mm-hmm.
You felt
like you're in the bottom of the ocean, like listening.
Oh, so good. And I don't think they did the kind of I think Hellblade kind of spatial audio, whatever it is. But however they managed to, I don't know, drag you into the game just using the audio was immense. Absolutely immense.
I also, the last thing I got to say is my other favorite part was the Iron Man plasma cutter.
Oh, yeah.
That thing was so sick. You just point your wrist at something and zap that little lock off there and we're in.
And that's the thing. Like that's really the only game mechanic. Like that's the only thing you have on you, and it's used sparingly. Like a lot of this is just discovering your environment. It's very walking simulator, I put in quotes, but it does have some of those, like when you're outside with the rover and the tower falls down on top of you, there's set pieces like that. And there's also you get an ASE droid
Right. It's like a ghost.
Yeah, like a ghost in Destiny, exactly. And that's another big gameplay mechanic. You have this robot that you can use a camera from it and then control the actual robot. So you're gonna complete some puzzles by like going through vents and having him maybe open a door from behind it where only he could get in.
Right. In a code or something on a wall that and you have access to the keypad.
Right, and it's also like, for whatever reason, robots nowadays are just like, they always have like feelings and emotions, and everybody loves little cute robots in games and movies and everything. And this one was no different. Like towards the end of this, when everything's going downhill for your dude, and the robot kind of like will like, he'd nudge you a little bit, and you'd like put your hand up on him like he was a pet or something. And I was like, oh man, getting the feels right now for this stupid
like,
little space ball.
In Destiny.
Yeah, exactly. But the only thing, and apparently I had talked to Dan about it a little bit when I wrapped it up. There was a thing called Outward. It was the main reason that people had left the space station, is what you figure out eventually, is that they were just moving on from Earth completely. They all thought that Earth, well, it's definitely a dictatorship, and this one dude, McMillan or something, he had a name like that. He got everybody together and was like, hey, we're just launching, we're leaving Earth behind, we're leaving everything behind. And then these dudes just took off for, I don't know, a different, to just try to colonize Mars, I guess. They're doing some Elon Musk stuff, but for whatever reason did not communicate with, well, I don't think they could communicate with Earth what they were doing. So I wanted to know what happened with the whole Outward project at the end, because I completely missed it, if there was talk of it. So that kind of made me feel like the game is set up for a sequel, possibly. But when I was talking to Dan, he said that you do get a little more info on what happened with it if you did get all the collectibles. And I missed 4, maybe. Like, I think I was at like 52 of 56 or something, where I'd collected almost everything in the game. So unless it was in those 4 stupid things that I missed, and I want to see more. I want to see what happens after this. I think the game ends in a way where you could transition into a new character, Kathy, I think was her name. You could just start playing from her and have the next adventure. So I'd love to know what this studio is doing, what they're working on
that's
now.
not very forgiving, though, if you miss 4, that you don't get not the extra part of the story, but...
Well, that's why I'm curious if I just read through some stuff and maybe breeze through it, not paying attention, or...
Well, Dan says that if you get everything, you get an encrypted message, and the only way to decrypt it is to collect all intel.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he did tell me that. So that's the thing. You need 100% all of the collectibles and whatnot to get this encrypted message. Okay, that makes way more sense. So this is something that right after the show, I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to just listen to the encrypted message this way. It's kind of like... It reminds me, and I had talked to him about this, it reminds me of the Riddler trophies in The Dark Knight, the game, where if you collected all 200 of them, you got the real ending, but
it's
no...
impossible to get all those trophies, so screw that ending.
And who needs to spend an extra 20 hours getting all that stuff?
That's like collecting all the secret moons on Mario Odyssey. Nobody ain't got time for that.
Yeah, so, I mean, the same thing with The Dark Knight. I went and watched that ending without collecting 200 Riddler trophies because I'm a sane person. And I just kind of feel, I mean, I guess it's my fault that I missed them. I just didn't explore certain areas enough or whatever. But I'll definitely go and figure out what that message said, because that was the one thing that I was like, damn, I wish I knew what happened, because everything else was kind of wrapped up just fine.
And I already know that I'm screwed, because at the beginning, before the launch, there's this sense of urgency that you got to get out of town before, the storm moves in. So I blew by everything and went straight to the ship, and just basically did the bare minimums to get that thing off the ground. And there's, I think, 3 achievements that I left back there. So.
Okay, yeah. And, well, the one cool thing, once you beat the game, or even before you beat the game, right from the main menu, there is a level select. And when you go to level select, it'll tell you like 5 of 7 intel found or whatever, so you can go back and get the stuff easily. So that's a nice touch, I guess.
Sure. And I wonder if like once you finish the game, if you can go back, or do you have to start a whole new playthrough?
So I went back and hit continue when I was done, and it just put me into like the very last sequence again.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't. That's
Well,
kind of where it leaves you.
if you push pause, it'll give you a mission select menu as well. So
Yeah, and then if you want to go back,
yeah,
I think you could go back to like chapter
yeah, that's
two.
what Dan said. You can select a level.
Right. So there it is. Yeah. Overall, I think this game was pretty perfect. I think the one big gripe I had was, like you had said, there was definitely some repetitive. This thing's broken. Go fix this. If you do this, you can open this door, and then you get through that door, and you come to another locked door. And it's like, okay, turn the power back on here. Fix this. It was kind of that middle section when you're on the space station, or when you're on the actual moon base, where it's just like, ugh. All right, I've done this before.
Yeah, you got to take power sources from one room and go put it in another room, and
Yeah, it just didn't get changed up enough in the middle. Not enough variety with their puzzles. I like at first it was kind of like, okay, cool. I've done this before in games. I know what I'm doing. Like, so that's fine.
yeah, those countdown timers and running out of oxygen are anxiety inducing for sure.
Yeah, and it's nice how they switch.
Heart was increasing.
Right.
I gotta get this oxygen, or I'm gonna die, and I gotta do this whole thing over again.
Yeah, and they do a decent job of pacing. I think it's kind of like right when you're starting to be like, oh, I don't want to do another puzzle. It's like you don't need to, because now we're gonna have a set piece or maybe something for you to watch or listen to.
Yeah, the worst thing happened to me, right? Like when you were talking about where the tower falls. You know how you have like a 2 minute timer to get from one tower to the other and then get it aligned?
Oh,
Well,
right, yeah.
I thought that, I had plenty of time. And so one of my kids came in and started talking to me, and I wasted like 15 seconds. I was like, no big deal.
Should pause that thing.
I got to double zeros and collapsed right in front of the chair to move
It's rough.
where it gives you more oxygen.
All right.
And I was like, oh, there's another 4 minutes I got to play through.
Yeah, if you, I didn't. I don't think I had to restart any sections. I don't think so. My playthrough kind of just felt like it was just smooth sailing through it, and
You didn't die at that one part where you had to open up the little server things and it was electrical and you had to like slide between the two little things. I died on that thing. Like the first time I went through, no problem. And then I died on the very last one. And then it took me like 4 or 5 times to get through. And I was just like, this might be where this game ends for me.
I don't think so. I don't remember having to restart anything. But I will say that part of the reason I love those countdown timers so much is because I don't think I finished one with like more than 10 seconds to spare ever, like on any of them. They wanted it to come down to the wire so often that it just blood pressure through the roof, anxiety through the roof, and I loved it. I love it when games can make you feel on edge.
Yeah, it gave me kind of the similar feelings of like when I was playing Control.
Yeah,
So
I think
just
that's
that
fair.
like you don't know what's gonna happen next, but nothing feels good. Nothing feels like, nothing's rainbows and sunshine, and whatever you discover around the next corner is not gonna make you feel any better.
I will say the one nice thing as far as anxiety goes is that because in the genre titles horror was not in there, that I was never expecting like scary space aliens to come kill me or be lurking around the corner. So just knowing that it wasn't a spooky game and knowing that if I came around a dark corner, something wasn't going to pop out and scare me, that made it like 1,000 times easier to get through this game. So that was nice.
I got stuck on the servers, so that kind of where you had to keep dipping in, up, and down. That killed me, and that's where I couldn't get past.
So
I was above
The third one is the one that killed me, where you had to
where you
go,
had to weave through it.
up, down, and then
were you shooting? Were you breaking the things?
Yeah,
Yes,
but no, the third one is like, so the first one you just go down and get it. The second one you've got to shoot all the cords off.
Right.
The third one, and the things are electrically charged, and if they only turn
have
off
to create
once
a path.
the cell out.
Yeah, so you have to create a path, and once you create the path by lasering them, there's still like two at the bottom, so you have to go up.
Right.
Then
Okay.
there's the middle bit where you go through the middle.
Was it
It was a nightmare.
Was it
on-
because that was an anti-gravity section? Like, was it tougher for you to kind of get the controls down then?
Yeah.
somehow
It was what? Right bumper, left bumper, A, B, right stick, and left stick are all things you had to incorporate together in order to move in a straight line.
I couldn't do it. I was wondering whether you guys played on keyboard or controller.
I played on Xbox.
Yeah,
I played through the whole thing on PC, so I don't know if that gave me maybe those sections were just a little easier for me, I guess.
Definitely.
Cheetah.
You just point and click, and it takes you right to that destination.
That's all I would do. Yeah, I would put in my elite hacks bot, and I would be like, "Take me to here," and then you just point, and then shoo, it would shoot you right there. So
back door into the code source, and just take yourself right to the exit, right?
yeah, that's what I did. Every puzzle I came to, I was like, dot complete puzzle, exclamation point, enter, and it would just be like done. So that's how hacking works in games. So there's your lesson for that on the week.
I'd be a rich man.
Overall though, hit or miss. Oh, actually no, I still have some feedback. Sorry about that.
Before I Sweeney.
Skip through all that. Well, first, Chaotic did say so far this is the best game Pass Roulette game. Cool. That is good feedback. Definitely one of the better ones for sure. We did play Ori and the Will of the Wisps though, and that game was pretty good. But yeah, excellent game, and definitely nothing that I would have tried. And even when whichever one of you picked this, I was like, okay, sure.
I made a list of games that I would be willing to play, and Chocolate said he'd play that one. I think that's how it worked.
Yeah,
I think you were like, yeah, it's only like 5 hours long. He's like, okay, easy, and then he still didn't beat the game.
I'll do that.
Just the worst.
Listen, I've got a whole year to complete that game.
Perfect.
Like I did Blair Witch.
Yeah, right. We're going to hear the tail end of this story like 5 months from now. He's like, I completed another game. And you're like, okay.
The one that we told you the ending of 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. This was from Mox, Sir Mox-a-Lot. He said, I've made it down to the moon. Enjoying it so far. So, good. Keep going. It gets better and better. And then the last piece of feedback comes in from Sweeney. He said he's at the last part near the end. He won't have time to finish it before the show, but really enjoyed the game for what it is. I think the movement was a little tricky at times, which we just talked about, and they would agree on. The moon buggy was great. The best driving in space since Mass Effect 1. The puzzles made me think sometimes, but all in all, a solid game. I would say 8 out of 10. It's not my favorite type of game. It needs a little more action. Thanks for picking it. Would have never played it otherwise. And then today he actually followed up and says it was also pretty cool playing it around the time that Elon Musk is trying to colonize the moon.
Right.
And
space station launched yesterday, and we did one.
Yep. They sent
it's almost as if we knew
exactly what was going to happen. Not about the test rocket exploding or anything. We're talking about the one that was successful, and we sent 2 people up. So that is exciting stuff. And that's the first time ever that a private company has sent people into space. So monumental. Good work, Elon. Clap, clap.
In our case, sometimes it's just better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, 100%. All right. I think that was everybody's feedback. And thanks for the people that did tune in and played and finished this whole thing. Both of you, I would say, definitely keep trucking along in this one. It's worth it. The ending's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it today.
Good deal.
we'll get on it.
All right. Well, hey, that's gonna wrap up.
Wait, hit or miss, Beh?
Oh, I started that and then I went back to the feedback, so I obviously thought I'd already done it. 2 thumbs up for me. Definitely hit. Chocolate, how about you?
It's a hit. Even though I want to throw it out the window with that electric bloody. That just frustrated the hell out of me.
Hashtag user error.
Hashtag I am god awful. But yeah, I think the premise of the game is really good. I do like it.
Okay. And Moose?
Yep, I'm gonna say it's a hit. Basically, Sweeney took all the thoughts out of my head and put it on his internets. So just read his review, and that's kind of how I feel too.
Yeah,
not the game that I would usually play, but I'm appreciative of us for choosing it.
Yeah, and speaking of reviews, actually, funny enough, Chaotic, who
Segway King.
What?
Segway King.
Yes, just today. Chaotic, his feedback here was small, but there was a reason for that. He's actually doing a video review that's going to be up on YouTube the day before the podcast launches. So when the podcast comes out on Tuesday, this will already be out on YouTube. Chaotic doing a review of Deliver Us the Moon. So definitely check that out. It'll get tweeted out as well. So if you're following us on Twitter,
hit the subtitles button because he's Scottish. So
he was at the community play, and someone was just like, "Why isn't he swearing more? Like, can you swear more?" And he's like, "I thought I had to tone it down for the Americans." And we were like, "Nah, dude, you need to tone it up."
Nothing better than Shrek with a foul mouth.
I love that you just straight up told him that in party too. You're like, every time you talk, I just think of Shrek, but you're 100% right. So it's cool. So yeah, make sure you guys check that out over on YouTube. Links for YouTube are in the show notes. So like I was saying, that does wrap up a Game Pass Roulette for May. Coming up next is June's Game Pass Challenge Edition, and the game that we've chosen because we had such a fun time playing it at the community play the other night is Golf with Friends. Because this is a challenge, there is a little bit of cash on the line. This is month 2 where the 3 of us are going to be trying to protect our money. The pot is up to $20 now, so if you can beat our 18-round score, you take home the prize. If not, it rolls into the next Game Pass Challenge month.
That's right. And I gotta say, on this one, the tie is going to us, friends. So
100%.
If we get a perfect round and you get a perfect round, it's going to next time.
Yep. So the course, the only rules we have is that the 18-round course is going to be on the Oasis course. Correct?
Yeah, 18 holes, not 18 rounds.
18 holes, 1 round. Sorry. I would love to see 18 rounds. Oh, I don't play a lot of golf, guys.
This one's yours, Chocolate. You got 18 rounds to play, buddy.
Woo! 18 whole rounds. You're going to be playing hours every day.
That's just to qualify. Then you got to work on your scores.
If there's a tutorial, I'm out.
So yeah, we're just looking for the best score through 1 round on Oasis. That's the course. There's no upgradable clubs or balls or anything, so everybody's on an even playing field here. If you have a good score, you can tweet it at us. If you're in Discord, which everybody should be at this point, we have a Game Pass Roulette channel where you guys can post your best scores there. We'll keep ours updated as we go as well. But I think this is a fun game to play, and even if you want to do it with a bunch of people,
right?
You can take out 6 friends, and everybody can try. Like the whole community could be playing together to try to beat us while they actually play together, and just send us your scorecard if it's lower than ours at the end of the month.
And it's a great game to grab a 6-pack or a 12-pack of soda pops and spend a Friday night just trying to be better than your friends and telling them how terrible they are at putt-putt.
It's a good social distancing COVID game. You can't go to the real. Well, apparently you can go to real putt-putt, but maybe you don't live in the same state and you want to play with your friends. So this is the easiest way to play some putt-putt, have some fun, maybe win yourself some money if you can put up some good scores.
I do need to put a disclaimer out there, though, because careful what you gamble. You may end up off a podcast and down of an Xbox.
Best of luck, everybody.
That's the 28th of June, that one.
Is when this episode will be?
Well, yeah, I suppose it'll be out on the 30th. So it'll be out Tuesday the 30th of June.
Okay.
But
yeah. It's about a month. It's a February month.
Solid. Yeah, it's a solid month.
Okay, yeah. So we need scores in by on the 30th. 30th at the latest, right?
No, 28th was
yeah, so we want it then on the 27th at the latest. 27th of June. You have to get your card in.
There you go.
There you go. Perfect. I don't know how to read calendars. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong month. Yep. I'm looking at May. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about right now. So, thanks for being on top of things, friends. And each episode from here on out until then, we'll be talking about what needs to be happening. What? Hopefully I'm on the right server. Is that what you said?
I said it helps if you're on the right server.
Oh, helps if you're on the right server. Yep. All right.
Paid.
Moose,
Just, bring
you were
it
having
back,
some connection issues.
I see that.
You can see it happening live
Ugh.
on twitch.tv/crossplanet gaming. Yeah, so 1 round, 18 holes, golf with friends. You're playing on the Oasis course. Come beat us in our own game. Win yourself some cash.
Cash money.
Cash money. All right. Yeah, that's it for Game Pass Roulette. Next up, we have the news. All right, Moose, if you are there, what is going on in the news this week?
We'll see how this goes today,
Hey,
boy.
you're there. I see you. I hear you. We're good.
Yeah, buddy. All right, let's start out with some Last of Us 2 news. So there was a 1 hour and 10-minute plus presentation last week all about The Last of Us 2. So they showed us a little bit more about the setting. So it's going to be a few years past the last game, and you're going to be in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And at some point, you're going to travel to Seattle. So that's kind of the main two areas that you're going to be playing in. It seems like most of the game takes place in Seattle, though. So there's new movement abilities. You can have a rope swing that you can kind of lasso up to a fulcrum point and then swing across ravines or ditches, stuff like that. And then also you can rappel down ropes. There's now a mantle function, which I haven't completed the first game yet.
Nope.
You can't mantle.
We got a month to finish that up, and I'm sure
Right.
then we would have realized that we can't mantle and probably would have complained about it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's tons of new melee weapons that they featured. You can pick them up or craft your own. And then there's magazines that you can find around the areas that will give you new blueprints basically for crafting. So I think they're digging in real deep with the RPG and the crafting aspects of this game this time. So
That's cool. I'm down with that.
yeah, it looks pretty cool, and it looks very bloody and graphic. And you also have two warring factions to deal with in Seattle.
As well as a zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
Great.
They couldn't be just zombies after you. Now there's two gangs that are rivaling for supremacy.
And that's always going to be the scariest part of a zombie apocalypse is always going to be humans. So
yeah, Walking Dead.
Exactly.
So, Chocolate, you find yourself a PlayStation yet?
Still not. Listen, I've snuck in this PC and my wife doesn't know about it. How?
That was a good sneak, dude.
I know. And
Hell of a
how
sneak.
am I going to do a PlayStation? It's just not.
What'd you do? Just put a couple extra gold coins in your pocket every day you went for a swim?
I rubbed a few pennies together and a bajillion came out.
Exactly how that works.
But I think I mentioned last podcast. She was like, "So how much did that cost?" I was like, "I love you too."
Yes. How much did that cost?
Maybe need you.
Yes.
Yes.
Did I tell you you look pretty today?
Exactly.
I love you. What do you want for dinner?
So yeah, Last of Us 2 is coming out this month in like 3 weeks? Something like that? Less than 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's towards. No, I think it's
17th, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, that sounds right.
So, yeah, 17 days, Brett.
I guess I know a game I'm starting this week.
Yeah, right? So, moving on to some not so great news, at least for me. Madden got locked up for the next 5 to 6 years.
Saw this one coming, didn't we?
Yeah, so Madden and EA have inked a new deal with the NFL and NFLPA that locks up the NFL sim rights through at least 2025 for $645 trillion. Not really, but it's got to be about that somewhere.
Yeah,
They
it was till
disclose the amount.
it was 2026, right? Not 2025.
Well, 2025, and then the rights to 2026 are optioned by the league if certain financial goals are met.
Oh, okay. Which they will be with the amount of
yeah.
loot boxes that'll be in that game. So,
Dude, they said that this year was the biggest year for Madden ever. Madden 20 was.
Wow.
And it's not going to stop, dude. It's one
No.
of those games, like, it's the only football sim game. Like, you don't have any other options if you like football and you want to play it. Like,
It's
you have
my
one choice.
favorite ultimate team game because you don't have contracts. Once you have the player, you have them for good.
Yeah.
It's not like FIFA and it's not like 2K where you only have them for a certain amount of time and then you have to use currency to keep them on your team or, go find
Right.
another player.
So, yeah, I'll put it out right now. I guarantee you this contract goes to 2026.
Oh, dude.
And then it gets renewed just
exactly.
through the rest of time. So,
There's so much money involved in that deal.
Oh,
that
yeah.
It's kind of like the DirecTV NFL deal.
Yep.
That thing will never go away too. So, yeah, sucks for us. I was hoping we were going to get a 2K sim game, but maybe we can get like NFL Street or something.
just a competitor of some sort.
Right. Not. I bet it's just going to be like a Stack 3 game that's got helmets on it or some stupid crap.
We'll get NFL Blitz by 2K. 2K Blitz.
Who made that before? Activision? Yeah, I think it was.
I have no idea, actually.
I want to say it was Activision. So that's an EA game too. But up next, let's talk about a little bit of Animal Crossing.
All right.
We got some fish coming in June. It's shark season, boys.
Maneater season?
Yeah. So there's a list of about 15 or 10 new fish, and about half of them are sharks. So you can catch a great white, a hammerhead, a sawfish, a ribbon eel, a suckerfish, and the biggest one of all, a whale shark.
Whale.
I wonder how big that looks when your little tiny guy holds it up. It just like takes up
Right?
the whole screen.
Dude, I've caught some giant fish already, so I'd love to see the
See if
size
it
of that.
actually takes up the entire screen.
Yeah, and I've actually, today is actually the first day I have not bought any turnips, so I thought I was clean of Animal Crossing, but now I got to go shark fishing. So
I was
You
going to
might
ask
be-
if you thought you were falling off of it because you didn't buy
Yeah.
turnips, but apparently now you're just ready to go fishing.
yeah, and I need to get my house in order. I've got my arcade and my game room downstairs, pretty well designed, and the way I like it. But the rest of my house is just empty rooms. So
Did you ever get that last arcade machine you were looking for?
no, I'm still looking for the Mahjong arcade machine.
Mahjong, that's what it was. I think
Yeah.
your mic died that day or something, and it was like
Oh,
right
okay.
as you were telling people what you
Oh.
needed, and I was like, he needs some type of arcade cabinet, so reach out to him. But
So that's why I haven't received it yet. Yeah, guys,
Oh,
listen up.
100%.
Mahjong arcade cabinet, and I'm also looking for gnomes. So if you
those
have
were the
any
two
gnomes,
things.
yeah, let me know what colors they are because I already have 4 of the 8. Oh, and I started collecting the mini wrestling figures, the little bobblehead guys. I got 2 of them now. I think I have a purple one and a black one.
Well, they got wrestling feet.
Oh, he's sold. He's sold. Get him in there.
Dude, chocolate. It's a little luchador, and you tap it on his head, and it goes bobblehead.
Put him in, coach. He's ready.
Yep.
I'll get it. That's it. That's my game.
Yeah,
Awesome.
don't go Pokemans, dude. It's all about the Animal Crossing.
That's
Gotta
another-
gotta collect them all,
I was going to say
That's
another
right.
child game, but it's
Get all
okay.
the residents to come to your island.
and then collect all the gnomes and bobbleheads and arcade machines
me.
and fish.
Yep.
It's a lot.
So yeah, Animal Crossing, catch your sharks. That's about all I got for Animal Crossing this week. But pretty cool, right?
Woo! I'm pumped.
So up next in our enter summer in your gaming title here, IGN introduced IGN Summer of Gaming schedule. So starting on actually Friday, right, June 5th, it is going to start, and it looks like they're just kind of replacing E3 with this whole month of stuff. So starting on June 5th, they're going to have some unannounced game reveals, and a trailer of Werewolf the Apocalypse, a bunch of gameplay from some other games. June 6th, they have, I don't know, all this stuff. Just look at IGN's social, because it looks like from June 5th all the way till June 24th, they've got something at least 1 or 2 days every week. So it's going to be game reveals, it's going to be trailers, it's going to be, inside studio stuff. So looks like the month of June is going to be jam-packed full of game news.
And when we actually get the new, because it's been weird, because like the last couple of weeks, it's just been us telling you guys like, hey, cool stuff is coming, but we don't actually have the cool stuff to talk about. We're just giving you announcements about announcements. But
Yeah, dude, like literally, I have this flyer right here, and it says unannounced game.
yeah,
Unannounced,
exactly.
unannounced. Like I'm not gonna just read, you know.
Right. So I'm just saying the next few weeks when we actually have these sweet unannounced things that are at the forefront and for everyone to see, we'll have a lot more exciting things to talk about. But it's good to know.
Yeah, it's coming. It's E3 week essentially. So be excited for
How
Friday.
weird is that, dude?
I know.
This would be like, oh,
This is like what is it? Newsweek? No, what do they call it? The week
Leak
before
week.
E3. What is it?
Leak week? Leak week?
No, not. But when they
also that, yes.
and they let all the media people go in and do everything before they let them in like a week early.
Speaking of leak week, and you had just talked about The Last of Us, but apparently that whole entire game leaked. The whole script for it, like the entire thing now. So that's fun.
Yeah, just avoid the internet, you know.
Yes, literally shut down everything, because even if you're in a weird comment thread on something that doesn't have to do with The Last of Us, you're still going to find The Last of Us spoilers because the internet is a horrible, vile place. Bunch of jerks.
Yeah. Yep. Some jerk is going to spoil it for you for sure.
Yep.
So if you guys can hear me all right, I'm going to move on. Chaotic wanted me to include this. You can pick up the Handsome Collection on the Epic Games Store for free until June 4th. So you got, 5 days from now, 3 days from Tuesday. So if you want to play some PC Borderlands, that's going to be free for the next 4 or 5 days. So get on that, get it claimed.
Yeah, pick it up. Why not?
Yeah, you never know when you're going to go back and play it or whatever. But
Yep.
right now it's full free.
Free is free.
Up next, Microsoft kind of jumping into the VR game a little bit. So the Reverb G2 VR headset was unveiled. It's going to be $599 out this fall, which is $100 less than the Valve headset. And it's going to be a tethered unit. They want it to be able to do solid work as well as solid play and handle anything and everything that you might want. So, VR, and they're working with Microsoft on that. So I wouldn't be super shocked if something with the Series X comes about later on down the road.
Yeah, and HP is the one creating it.
Right, HP, and then they're working with Microsoft and Reverb, or who is the other one? They're working with two different other companies.
Valve? I think it was Valve and Microsoft.
Okay.
Which makes a lot of sense. Since there's VR on both platforms.
You can go spend more money on a new VR headset, Risky.
I got a dusty one sitting up there on that shelf.
Still not sweaty enough from when you used it on
Nope.
Beat Saber, huh?
Oh, Beat Saber. What a game.
That's the only reason to have VR.
That's 100% true.
So, more things to look for this week. On the 4th, which is, I believe, Thursday, there will be a PlayStation Future of Gaming show. And this is going to be a look at purely console launch exclusives. So they said it's going to look for it to be about an hour long. You guys hear that?
It's going to be about an hour long. I heard that.
Okay, yeah, it's and it's for PlayStation on Thursday, right?
PlayStation on Thursday. Got it.
Yep, it's going to be at 2 Moose time, 5 Risky time, 9 Bear time.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, yeah, future of gaming for PlayStation, that's going to be a bunch of console exclusives.
That's, oh man, that should have some legit announcements, I think. Yeah. So
I'm looking like God of War type or Spider-Man.
Some big stuff.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yep. Up next, we got a new dashboard for Xbox. I know Ronan was talking about it in Discord, saying he can't find anything now because everything's muscle memory. So,
very true.
Yeah, that threw me big time. Because it only happened 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Mine was a couple of weeks ago because I'm in a beta or one of the other preview rings.
Is that the first time you notice it when you you go to the little dashboard thing on the left and it's all the way to the left instead of in the center? So then I try to tab left and I can't. I'm like, what Why is it broken? Oh, it's not broken. Okay.
And then they've done some like refiling and reorganizing of things. Like they put all their settings and stuff underneath your personal profile. And so it's supposed to be like streamlining and making things a little easier, but
It makes that makes sense under your profile having all those settings, but
right.
from what we're used to from years,
It's just it takes some adjustment.
yeah, it's like mind blown.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Ronan's like, I can't find any of my friends. Can somebody help me, please?
It's broken. Somebody fix it.
So, yep. And last thing I got, boys. Did you guys see that aerial shot of Super Mario Land in Japan?
No.
The actual like theme park?
Yeah. Do
Oh
me a favor.
no.
Google it real quick.
What?
It looks amazing.
What and where is it?
In Japan, Universal Studios in Japan. So they've got Princess Peach's castle. They've got like level 1 of Super Mario World and what looks like Bowser's castle. And it looks like they've got like 3 themed rides.
Oh my god.
Different directions. It looks amazing, dude. And it looks tiny. So, I think that with the amount of space that they have in the US parks, they should be able to make something pretty awesome. So this is supposed to open this summer. And, now it's kind of TBD.
Kind of tough,
open.
yeah.
Yeah. But it looks like it's ready to go.
It
And
looks awesome.
Yeah. I think they have like a mine cart or a Mario Kart type ride. And then they've got the slow where you sit in the mushrooms and it just goes around the whole land and kind of shows you everything. But I think they've got three themed rides. So I'm stoked. I want it to come to Universal and I just want my kids
Yeah.
get bigger. So we
We're
Yeah.
losing Moose.
Bye, Moose.
yeah. So that's thankfully all I got in news today, boys.
It's all good, dude. We know it's not your fault. It's the stupid thunderstorms. We're blaming this one on Mother Nature. All right, Chocolate, we have anything new coming out this week?
We do, and I apologise because I was tapping away trying to add them in because I forgot to do it earlier. So let's get into it. Cyber Protocol on the 5th of June is out on the Xbox. You also have Tour de France on the 4th of June, and that's for the PlayStation and Xbox. Coming out on the Switch, you have the Clubhouse Games, 51, loads of games, 51 of them, obviously, and that comes out on the 5th of June, which should be a bit of a hoot. Also, we've got the new games for gold. So on the Xbox, on the 1st until the 15th of June, you've got Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, as well as Destroy All Humans. And then June 15th until the 30th, you have Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk actually goes through until July 15th. And then you have Shine and Morte.
Sure.
Yeah,
Close enough.
that's what we'll go with. Yep. So that's coming out. And then you have your PS Plus games. You've got Call of Duty World War II. And then you also have Star Wars Battlefront 2 coming out. And that is all the games for this week that I was interested in.
That's all the games. Sweet.
Yeah.
No big games coming out for a while, I feel like still. So
2 weeks, I think, and then it's The Last of Us is the biggest game, the start of the summer push.
yeah, and then you'll have Ghost of Tsushima the following month, I think, and finally we'll start to get some games, I think, here. And then we've got new consoles coming out at the end of the year. It's still gonna be a good year. It's just been a slow first half, and there's reasons for that. So
Yeah.
But all right, awesome. That's gonna wrap it up. Let's plug this thing up. Head on over to Apple Podcasts. Make sure to rate us, review us, give us that sweet 5-star rating. We do have one big link: streamerlinks.com/CAG podcast. That'll take you to everywhere, like Discord. You already know what that's all about. We have Patreon where people support us, where everyone can support us. The Patreon drawing is in
Next week.
It's next episode. Pff, look at that.
Yeah.
And so if you want to get in on the Patreon drawing, that's patreon.com/CAG podcast. And actually, it's the VIP drawing. I can't remember to say it. But There is an additional way to get into it. Twitch.tv/CrossAtlanticGaming. If you sub to the channel, you'll get an entry there. If you're on Twitch as a sub and Patreon as a sub, you get a bonus 1 entry. So lots of ways to get yourself into the drawing next episode. CAG Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And if you need to reach out via email for anything, cagpodcast@gmail.com. I'm at Risky the Kid if you need to reach me. Chocolate.
Chocolate 80 everywhere.
And Moose if you're there.
Yeah, do it for me. Moosenstein 8314.
Moosenstein 8314. We kind of heard some of it. There it is. Sorry your stuff's messed up. Hopefully this all comes clear for everybody. It's just another day in the life. This is how the sausage is made, folks. You get to experience the whole thing.
Oh.
That sounded worse than it was supposed to.
Well, listen, we didn't throw any golf terminology in there, so as long as we stay away from strokes and balls, we're okay. Oh.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning into this week's episode of Cross Atlantic Gaming. We'll catch you guys next week for an all-new episode. Goodbye.
See ya.
Later.
What do you call a guy who can't get his audio to come through a podcast correctly?
Moosenstein.
And he's still just looking there with a dumbfounded look. Oh, nope, I see him. All right, you got any dad jokes, Chocolate?
I did have one or two. Right, hang on. Oh, I need to reread it. Right, here we go. I'm giving up drinking for a month. Oh, wait, sorry, that came out wrong. I'm giving up drinking for a month.
Oh, I forgot a comma in there. Classic. Yep. Why did the cookie cry?
Oh, God, go on then.
Because his father was a wafer so long.
No.
Wafer.
Okay. I'm reading a horror book in Braille. Something bad is going to happen. I can feel it. It's terrible. It's terrible.
And he... Oh, get through this. What do you call a belt with a watch on it?
I don't know.
A waste of time.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
That's rough.
Last one.
Yep.
I would like to be a millionaire, just like my dad. He always wanted to be a millionaire too.
Yep. Done. Anybody that's still on Twitch, it says my name right over here because Moose left the Zoom call. So if you need to find me anywhere in real life, that's my first and last name. Just sitting right there. Good thing my social security number wasn't sitting under it or anything.
We need to change that or hide it so that never happens again. And how have I got bigger and zoomed in?
It's because Moose left and it changed it changed how everything was spaced out where it was being captured. So now you're just, and I'm just like, here's my name.
Yeah.
Sweet. Right here.
Awesome.
I'll just put the Twitch chat over here. Perfect.
Yeah, well, we should hide something. There we go. Hey. Well, we've already pointed it out. And I download and don't edit this.
It's really fine because I think on like Twitter, it probably says my real name somewhere. It's Zach Mayo. Mayo like the mayonnaise, the condiment. So if you need to reach out, I'm at Zach Mayo. Anybody that still happens to be in Twitch for some reason, somehow, Dan, Chaotic, you guys are troopers. I don't really know what happened at the end of that. That was rough. Definitely some thunderstorms happening over on Moose's neck of the woods. Nothing you can do there.
Definitely.
But yeah, thanks to you guys for showing up. Every week. You guys are awesome.
The best bit was Moose's face, just like this.
Yeah, when you get frozen, he's just like. Love you, Moose.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
all right, we'll talk to you guys later.
See you, folks. Take care.